trust me, your production skill is just going to go whoop straight up. How's it going? I'm eman47, Sonicallys.com. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to give you some tips that I wish that I really had when I first started producing, and some of the stuff that I started doing, and it's really helped me along my producer journey. First tip I have kind of encompasses 3 things, and the first one being making sure that you finish off projects as you go. I really struggled with this, and it really turned into a bad habit for me over 10 years. So say if you make your melody, make your drums and all that, and you make like the core principle of that beat, whether it's like the verse or the hook, make sure that you then go ahead and finish that beat. So whether you're going to have an intro, have your hooks and your verses, and maybe a bridge or a breakdown or a drop, however you're going to structure that beat out, just make sure you finish it and save it out. You don't have to mix it, don't have to master it, but just make sure that you finish it, because you'll end up building up a bad habit where you'll just like build that main core section of the beat, loop it over, sit there, jam with it for a minute, be like, yeah, this is sick. And then you'll be like, got a new idea for a beat, save it, load the new one up. It will repeat again. You'll do the same thing over and over. And trust me, it's not a good way to work. You get into that good habit of finishing it off, and this will correlate to other things later on when you come to doing collabs, when you come to working on other artists' projects where you're working on an artist track. You'll get used to finishing things off, and you won't half-ass things along the way. So the other main thing which encompasses all of this is consistency. The more consistent you are at working on your craft, areas that you're not so strong at, the better you're going to get, and the quicker you're going to do it getting better at them. So that kind of coincides with having a schedule. So have a schedule for your week, your month, however long you want to schedule out for, but a weekly task is quite good. So for argument's sake, on a Sunday, maybe you've got Monday to Sunday you schedule out. So from every day of that week, how many hours are you going to commit to making beats or working on learning so you can focus on key areas? Don't just make beats. Say you want to improve your drum patterns or your melodies, or you want to learn how to mix and master, or you want to learn key things like side chaining or automation and things like that within your DAW. So use that to schedule out those times and days throughout the week when you're going to be focusing on those things. And also schedule, if you're going to be making beats, how many beats are you going to try and get finished in that time frame? So say you got 4 hours, and make sure you finish them. So if you're going to be working on beats, okay, I want to make 3 beats in this 3-hour space time window, however many it is, then make sure that you say, I'm going to make sure that I finish these before I move on to another one. Having this regimented schedule and consistency, you will see massive benefits. You'll see it more if you don't do it this way to start with, and then you change to it, you'll see massive benefits. But trust me, if you get on this to start with, it'll be your absolute norm. You'll know no different. And trust me, your production skill is just going to go whoop straight up. Second point is use loops and samples, especially if you're starting out. There's a lot of veterans out there, you still use it. I know there's still a lot of people that say using loops is cheating, when that's just ridiculous to even think that, when hip hop was founded off of sampling. It's a completely ridiculous statement, in my opinion, to say loops and samples are cheating or stupid or it's laziness or however they want to phrase it. It's just ridiculous. Don't listen to that. It can be such a creative way to make beats and make music. I'm not just saying that because we sell loops and the fact that we've just dropped a brand new guitar pack, but I am. Links in the description, yeah. But it can really help you with a range of things, from like beat block to just being inspired. You can take these loops and samples, you can stretch them, pitch them, chop them, cut them, however you want to manipulate them and change them, run them through them, effects chains, all of this stuff that you can do to spice things up and make things completely different. It's a whole different kettle of fish playing with loops and samples, and you can find you can get some amazing results and have a lot of fun in doing that as well. This is another thing that I wish that I would have done a bit more early on, is put my music out a lot more. You know, you might be thinking, oh, my music's not good enough, maybe I shouldn't put it out. Okay, if you've just literally opened your DAW and you started making beats for a day or two, then yeah, maybe not, they're not going to be good enough. I know mine definitely weren't back in the day, and back then I didn't have like YouTube or social media, or even magazines weren't covering tutorials on FL Studio that I wanted. So it's all, I had to just mess around with the DAW and just play around. What does this do? What does that do? It took me forever to learn stuff, right? Now you've got the power of YouTube and tutorials and all this different stuff that you can find. You can be making very high quality stuff, like with high quality sounds, in relatively next to no time. But just make sure you start putting your stuff out there. Yeah, it might not be your best stuff. Okay, like 6 months ago, I look back at some of my beats and I think, oh, what the hell is that? I should have done this, I should have done that. You're always going to be improving, right? But to always try and go on that perfection route, you're just never going to reach that perfection. I went through that and it destroyed my chances of gaining when I could have, it's like kind of investing in stock. If I would have done what I'm doing now, or was what I was doing a few years back when YouTube and that started, I could have been in a lot different place than I am now, but I didn't. I was always striving for perfection. I wasn't putting things out. I wasn't finishing projects. So make sure you finish the projects and make sure you put stuff out there. It might not be your best, but you could get feedback off that. You can show your journey, like these TikTok videos, one day after using FL Studio, 2 weeks after using FL Studio, a month after FL Studio, 6 months, a year, whatever it is after making beats. You could show that journey. You could do a TikTok video, you could do it a day by day or week by week process. People might enjoy seeing that progress that you've got and growing, and they might give you feedback and they see your process of what you're doing. It's like, why didn't you do this? Maybe you should try this. This will help. You could build friendships, relationships with other producers and artists along the way. Who knows? You might even get onto the next point of what I want to talk about, which is collaborations. Collaborations have always been talked about a lot as a great way of growing, and they are, and they still are. If you're brand new and you are a fresh producer, this would be a great way to help grow you, not just your profile, but help really improve your skills as well. Looking for producers that are on the same level as you are, or maybe a little bit higher, and just seeing what kind of style they are. Don't just spam them, DM them going, oh yeah, let's collab. Maybe have a beat already like built up and made, and it might need that something extra or something different changed to it. And put it out there. Go and look for people, see what they're making, see if they're the same style as you. Say, look, would you like to collab? This is what I've got. Maybe they're really good at drums or something. And you say, look, I really think that if you added some drums like you do on your other beats to this could be a really fire track. Approach people like that. And then what you'll find is that you could learn a lot from them, from one-on-one, and vice versa. So if you're really good at melodies, they're really good at drums. You come together, you can make something that's awesome, but at the same time, you can see what they're working on. You can ask them how they did that, how they made that drum pattern, how they decided on that sound selection, etc., etc. You can learn a lot. But on top of that, you build a relationship with people. I'm still talking to people that I collabed with years ago and seen them grow along the way. That's also led to other opportunities. And then you could also get opportunities to work with other producers because they see you working with this producer, or the producer you just worked with recommended you, and then other people that are following them on their social media accounts see you and they follow you. And it's just a great way to network and become part of the producer community online as a whole. Final point kind of coincides with the first point, is that to learn your DAW, use YouTube, do tutorials online. But one of the biggest things that you should definitely do is have fun and just play around with your program. It's all good following a tutorial, but to just follow a tutorial and just pick things and go, oh look, turn this knob to 23 and turn that slider up to 56 or something like that. Yeah, great. You're learning how in that way to do something and make something, but you're not really learning the process of it and why that does that the way it does it and how it affects it or manipulates that the way it does by turning those things and changing those settings. So, maybe do a tutorial, go back and have a look, and then start tweaking things yourself, start adding things and chucking things on there. It might seem unorthodox, but you might find out something new, a new effects chain or a new way of doing something, or just this weird thing that you've done has just turned this sample or this sound awesome, and it's just made this whole different effect. You could really benefit just from learning that. And also it's going to really get you to learn more of the intricacies of your DAW, and the quality of your production is definitely going to go up, and also the speed in which you can complete tracks and beats is going to be a hell of a lot quicker as well. We also have our own FL Studio tutorials on this channel as well. We'll be dropping some every single week. We've already dropped some already, so feel free to check those out as well while you're here. Another thing is music theory, and a lot of people could argue you don't really need to learn music theory because a lot of the DAWs have all the information. They know how to do all the scales, the chords. It's just a couple of clicks of a few buttons. If you learn the basic, even the very basics of music theory, then you could go and sit down at a piano and just start playing away. And oh, if I'm going to start on E and I want that to be an E minor, the steps in between that. Okay, your fingers and hands might not be flexible enough or know the placements without looking at the keys, but you actually know the theory. It also can correlate to playing a guitar, right? So if you pick up a guitar, you might not know where everything is or the hand placements, but once you know where they are, you know the music theory, so you know how to play. Tom's been dropping a load of tutorials tutorials. He's dropping a series on how to play the piano and music theory series. So go and check them out as well. Goes from complete beginner to even how to just strengthen up your hands and wrists. That stuff is going to be your foundation for learning everything to do with music theory and playing the piano. So I hope these tips really helped you out. I know they really would have helped me out a lot more if I'd done them at the beginning, but I still follow a lot of these now. So if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you've got any suggestions or any other tips that things that have really helped you out, leave them in the comments below for other people to know about. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell notification to know when we drop some new videos. Until next time, take it easy.